Hey, this is Stacy from Let's Cook Y'all. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new, welcome. We're really glad you're here. We hope you like what you'll see in these What's for Dinner videos and you'll hit that red subscribe button. We're back with a new week of some home-cooked meals. We had quite a variety of this week. Tim asked for no Asian, so I tried to fix some things that he liked. So there's a lot of red meat this week. Hope you enjoy the video. The first meal we have for you this week is one that has a lot of vegetables. I had some corn that I soaked in the sink in water and then wrapped it in foil to go on the grill. I was originally going to do all of this inside, but Tim offered to grill outside for me. I prepped all the fruits and vegetables. These are some peaches that I had that I decided to make a quick fruit chutney with. We have a video on how I make fruit chutney on the stovetop. Normally I use nectarines, but I had these luscious peaches that made a delicious, quick, easy fruit chutney. I also had some white, I think these are like a patty pan squash. I had never bought them. They had some seeds in the middle. I just cut them up like I would a zucchini or a yellow squash and fixed them on the stovetop with onions. I started two different pans on the stove. The first one has butter and some of the onion for the fruit chutney. The other has some olive oil and the onions, and then I'll put the white patty pan squash in it. For the chutney, I put in the peaches and then some dried cranberries and then some balsamic vinegar, and that needs to cook until it's thick and the fruit is very soft. And I decided it needed a little more balsamic. So I tasted it after the fruit was as soft as I wanted and it had reduced enough with the balsamic. I took it off the heat and added the last few ingredients, which is some butter to thicken it up and gloss it a little bit, some cinnamon, some cloves, and a pinch of salt. Sweet guy. He fixes my food and then he shucks my corn for me because it's so hot. The pork chops and corn are off the grill. Tim's having a pork chop. I'm just gonna have some vegetables. I made some brown rice and quinoa for me. This is the white patty pan squash from the farmer's market. Hopefully it turned out. And the chutney for the pork chops. And that is what's for dinner tonight. I'll show you a picture of our plate.
The chutney is good.
It is good. My plate and Tim's plate. We are still working on the Little Caesars fundraising kits. This is the last full pizza. So we're gonna have that tonight. We've still got breadsticks and Crazy Bites in the freezer, but we're making a dent in them finally. So pizza is what's for dinner tonight. Tonight I'm gonna experiment and try a new recipe for a crock pot or slow cooker Greek chicken. I will leave a link to the recipe I used. I did make a few changes. I used thighs instead of breast. I left out a couple of the seasonings, including allspice and lemon pepper, and I substituted a few others. I do have a recipe that I've shared in the past for a chicken souvlaki that we grill, and I like the flavor of it better, but this one was very good. The changes that I made might have messed it up, but as I said, I'll leave a link to the original recipe. First thing I did was make the marinade. So with the changes I made, I used some minced garlic and then lemon juice and water and put in the onion that I had diced up fine. Then I added the olive oil and the red wine vinegar. And then my changes to the seasonings were I added some oregano, onion powder, some parsley, and some dill, and then some salt and pepper. I put cooking spray in my little oblong West Bend. And the thighs, these don't take very long to cook at all. With the marinade on them, they were done in a couple of hours and ready to shred. Once the chicken was cooking, I started on the tzatziki sauce. The first thing I did was take my microplane and grate some cucumber. I like English cucumber for this. I go ahead and get it as fine as I can and then salt it to draw out as much of the liquid. About 15 or 20 minutes later, it's ready to wring out. So I started with some Greek yogurt, and then in a clean kitchen towel, I had taken the mixture and wrung out as much of the liquid as I could. It's like a dry pulp is what you're looking for. So then I added that along with all my seasonings to make some homemade tzatziki sauce. I added some minced garlic, some lemon juice, some dill, actually a fair amount of dill. I like a lot of dill in my tzatziki. Some salt and pepper. I mixed it up, tasted it, decided I wanted a little dash, just the tiniest smidge of cayenne pepper. Mixed it up again, did the taste, adjust, added what I thought it needed, and put it in the refrigerator for the flavors to meld later for dinner. I had some baby red new potatoes from the farmer's market that I had parboiled earlier in the day, just in boiling water until they were fork tender. I put some olive oil and onion in my skillet and the softened potatoes, and then added a bunch of seasonings like oregano, garlic, onion, and a little dash of lemon pepper. I put them in the olive oil with the flesh side down, trying to do a pan roasting on them with some Greek flavors, and I served these with feta. Normally for Greek chicken, Tim puts it on the grill and we do what we call a pita mozz, which is take some pita bread and chunks of mozzarella. So I've put it in a foil pack and put it in my oven until it was melted. So we're having Greek tonight. The last couple times we've had Greek, we had gyro meat from Sam's, but I tried sort of a new recipe. I've changed it up quite a bit for a Greek chicken. I used thighs rather than breast and some seasonings, cooked it, shredded it up. We're gonna make pita with the homemade tzatziki, some different Greek toppings, Kalamata olives, feta, whatever we want, and then I made a pita mozz to go on the side. Bread and cheese, not very healthy. So I did make some baby red new potatoes, pan roasted them, and put some Greek seasonings on them. I'll show you our plate. That's what's for dinner tonight. This is something you don't see very often on our channel. We very rarely have sandwiches for supper, but it seemed like a good night in the middle of the summer. I had some tomatoes for Tim. I made him a BLT. I've been really hungry for egg salad, so I made me some this afternoon. We're just gonna have chips. I'm about out of fruit, so we're scrounging up. We have sandwiches sometimes when we stop. Well, he had bacon. Sometimes we stop on the way home and get things from Firehouse or Steak Escape, but rarely do we make sandwiches for dinner time, supper time in our house. Go ahead and eat all the bacon. So sandwiches, BLTs, and egg salad is what's for dinner tonight. Early this morning, I had put a roast in the crock pot, so when it got close to dinner time, I thought I had a package of Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits, and I didn't, so I said, I'll just make my own. What you're seeing here is my second attempt. The first attempt failed miserably. The second attempt failed just about as miserably, although Tim said I must have had high expectations. He thought they were okay. I'm convinced that my Bisquick was bad, since I tried this 2 times with milk, butter, and then some cheese that I shredded in. I baked them and put garlic butter on them. I Googled recipes online. That's basically what you do on the package from the Red Lobster Cheddar Bay thing, but they didn't work. They were a big fat flop, and I am going to purchase new Bisquick in the coming weeks and try again. I put a chuck roast in the crock pot this morning and turned it into a Mississippi roast. This is something I make about every 2 or 3 years. I don't really like using all the packets and the butter, and I do cut my butter way back. I use less than half a stick. But it was a small roast and it cooked all day and it pretty much fell apart. I made some mashed potatoes. I did some green beans. As sesame green beans, usually I use the whole or the French, but this time I just grabbed a can of cut green beans. So I've got my big girl pants on, and I'm willing to show you something that turned out as a flop and not a success, but the roast is going to be good. Mississippi roast, potatoes and green beans is what's for dinner tonight. And a quick sneak peek of something new I tried coming in a video soon. That's going to wrap up this week's What's for Dinner. Thanks so much for stopping by our channel, Let's Cook Y'all. Hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe if you hadn't already. Have a wonderful and truly blessed day, y'all. We'll see you in the next video.